CSE or ECE is concerned, in particular, also in general about engineering, the expectation world over and also corroborated by the Indian evaluators is that there is going to be a deficit of almost a few millions of candidates by year 2020. Even in spite of very large production of engineers from Indian environment, world over and within India, there is a shortage of engineers, and in particular in the area of IT, CSE, and also to a large extent in ECE areas. This is the first thing. So prospects are very bright for these branches. At least up to 2020, no questions need to be asked or no apprehensions about it. Number two, the better prospects of CSE, it is like this. Anybody who is getting into the IT or computer science area, they have a number of opportunities related to the product development, IT services development, and a number of other support services, including IT-oriented BPO, that is a business process outsourcing activities that are happening where you'll be giving the technical support world over. That's a call center job, the last one, which is not the most attractive. But what you can see is, in the present condition, the employability of engineers that are coming out from the Indian environment is almost 40% as far as their BPO positioning is concerned. As far as the hardware and networking positioning is concerned, it's close to about 30 to 35% of the engineers are readily absorbable into those areas. And IT services areas, if you look at it, is about 15 to 20% on an average. But as far as the IT product development is concerned, the suitability of the Indian CSE engineers that are coming out from these colleges is only about 2 to 5%. And if you look at the premium institutions also, it is not more than 8 to 9%. Not even the best of the IIT graduates, not even more than 8 to 10% of the graduates are deemed to be fit for taking up a product development activity in organizations like Microsoft or Google or Oracle or whatever it is. But still the employment opportunities are abundant because it's now the numbers speak about the opportunities very clearly. So this is about the IT CSE related areas, and in most of the environments, if one looks at in IT areas, if you really are looking for career prospects for next 30 years or 40 years, I mean everybody does career planning for himself, herself, and the organizations are also expected to do the career planning. The thing here is e-governance, e-commerce and e-learning is the order of the day. So this requires the expertise in the areas of database engineering, expertise in the areas of networking and web-based development. A lot of other related issues like networking, security related issues and all that, and operating system related issues could be there. But if one is focusing in the database areas, web development areas and networking areas, they have excellent prospects throughout their life as far as computer science engineering specialization is concerned. Coming to the ECE branch. The ECE branch obviously deals with the telecommunications to a very large extent. Radar communication also it deals with. The prospects are the best for the ECE students in terms of their positioning in telecom engineering specialization, because there is a very huge opportunity of investment and also development in the telecom areas, particularly in Indian environment. If you see probably in the last 20 years, from a position of maybe 10% telephone density, today, thanks to the mobile phone systems and all that, you almost come to about 95% of telephone availability today in Indian environment itself. So that speaks of the pace of development that is happening as far as the telecommunications is concerned. Of course, ECE also talks about a whole lot of automation related issues. So that is the embedded system. So embedded systems area telecommunications per se, that area, these are the two most prospective areas as far as the ECE branch is concerned. Well, that's about the general picture on the ECE and CSE. Thank you. Now coming to the integrated 5 years integrated program, which also gives you MTech after 1 year of additional spending. Well, the standard of post-graduation in engineering in India, no matter where the place is, which the place is, barring a few IITs and NITs, is dismal, disastrous, miserable and hopeless. You will be only wasting 1 year of your time if you really want to do something good in your future, either by way of doing a job or probably a good postgraduate degree, acquiring that and probably doing your PhD. The syllabus is outdated and miserable. The competence on the part of organizations to teach, including probably the hands-on that they provide, is also hopeless. So it is useless to pursue MTech in any engineering branch in other than premier educational institutions, or there could always be a few exceptions here and there out of the other engineering colleges. It is just wasting 1 year of your valuable life and valuable time and money. This is what my observation is. I have been watching the scenario of post-graduation all over the country. Even if you take some of the B or B plus grade universities in the United States, the MS course quality is far, far, far better than even the IITs. This is what I have personally experienced. I have been very closely following up the teaching learning process, the syllabus, the manner in which the students are learning, whatever it is. So I have learned some of these things the hard way. This is what I will give you as a piece of advice. But if there is somebody who has got a BTech, probably compartmental and all that, he doesn't even get an interview to get a job, and then you probably like to go and try for a job, you may like to acquire an MTech degree with so-called first class, whatever it is. Fine. You can probably spend 1 more year to improve your employability. That's all. Choice of branches or choice of colleges or places like that. In fact, I have noted down a few points which I wanted to share with you. First of all, let us understand that the development in 21st century in the area of engineering, medicine, science, arts, whatever it is dependent on one technology, that is the nanotechnology. Even bioinformatics, even biotechnology, if you look at, the ultimate improvement in biotechnology is also coming through nanobiotechnology. Nanotechnology has a lot of its roots into the mechanical engineering and application of the chemistry to a very large extent, but there is no area of engineering that can be exempted from deployment of nanotechnology for further development in 21st century. Be it civil engineering, see the strongest material that has been identified in the universe is the carbon nanotube, which is close to 200 times stronger than iron and close to about 40 times stronger than diamond. That is the technology we are talking about for the 21st century. You talk about a development in computers, it requires nanocomputing for furthering the computer scenario. It requires very strong materials for furthering the scenario of civil engineering. So is mechanical engineering. So is electronic engineering, electrical engineering, because a very large scale deployment of superconducting distribution system can only be brought in by use of nanomaterials, and very high efficiency in thermal engineering and all that can be brought about again by using a lot of nanomaterials and nanopowders and things like that. So that technology is the one which is actually going to decide the fate of the world for the next 50 years or so. Having understood this, I think one can appreciate the prospects of core engineering areas. Because of the sudden influx into the IT CSE areas for the last 10, 15 or 20 years, it so happened that there is a lot of depletion in the output of the core engineering areas for quite some time. Almost, if you look at the world's scenario, and particularly Indian scenario, there is a clear void between the top management and the junior management positions. In terms of the middle management positions, there is a acute shortage of real highly experienced manpower in core engineering areas. This is most acutely felt in the area of civil engineering, where a number of people, number of institutions have cut down the civil engineering courses for good 10, 15 years. So the void is highest as far as civil engineering is concerned. And the McKinsey Global Report and a number of other findings all over the world and in particular in India, they very clearly state that there is a huge requirement of civil engineers. So I would say that knowing the gap is going to be very wide by 2020 itself, as far as the engineering placement is concerned, that is availability of people versus the number of positions and all that, one should seriously look at the individual interest than probably anybody forcing or anybody being forced about the choice of a branch. I would say that don't ever think of going for a mechanical engineering branch or maybe civil engineering branch and you try to end up in IT area. What will happen? For 5 years, 10 years, you may feel that you are getting a lakh of rupees salary or maybe 50,000 rupees per month salary, all right. But after 10 years, after 15 years, what is going to be your fate? It is going to be blocked. It will be like somebody joining with a BTech degree in Electricity Board Authority, and then for 30 years continuing as assistant executive engineer and retire as a divisional engineer. That will be the fate of the individual. Why? Because if anybody is going through a CSE or IT formal course for 4 years, it is not that they are just spending 4 years on IT areas alone. It is not that they are just spending 4 years on some engineering course. They are concentrating on at least 40 to 50 highly focused areas related to CSE and IT. Each engineering branch, in fact, does the same thing. So a mechanical engineer who does probably 40 or 50 highly focused courses in mechanical engineering, can he compete with a CSE qualified person who has got a high focus on CSE related areas to become a project manager, to head a project of $1 million or $1 billion? Who will be preferred? Obviously the person who has got a proper background only will be preferred. And it will be too late by the time you want to revert back to your course of specialization. This is the first thing. Second thing I would also like to say is, I have been seeing in papers, I've got a first rank, I've got a second rank, third rank, okay, I'll go to IIT, I'll do my mechanical engineering, then I will become an IAS officer. To become an IAS officer, you don't have to waste the valuable resources of the hard-earned money of the taxpayers of this particular country, close to 20 to 25 lakhs, that is spent on each candidate in IIT, and then become an IAS officer. You can quietly and peacefully sit and do your MA and BA and MA, and after that you do your IAS and all that. It doesn't require a BTech, basically. That means you are depriving the genuine opportunity of a deserving candidate from becoming an engineer and serving this particular country, increasing the productivity and all that. This particularly is a wrong attitude. This is an attitude problem with most of the students that I find, basically. Coming to the choice of college or probably the branch. Do I go for the best college or do I go for the best branch? As I've already mentioned, you go by your interest in a particular area of specialization. Somebody says, I'm very strong in mathematics, but I am poor in physics. Let us understand very clearly that any engineering has a lot of things to do with physics. In certain areas you have more physics, in certain areas you have less physics. There is no engineering without physics. Mathematics, physics is applied mathematics, and I would say engineering is applied physics or applied chemistry. So, if you look at the genesis of engineering, it is all built on the very sound structure of mathematical background as well as and physics background. If somebody feels that you can take CSE without any physics or chemistry background, well, it is not totally correct. Electricity, magnetism is something one should have a very good understanding about, because the computer science engineering or IT deals with a whole lot of electronic devices. Without understanding the physics part, that is the electricity, magnetism and all that, how can you ever think of or light to that matter? How can you ever think of becoming a good computer science engineer? Okay, if you say that you don't want to go for any hardware part of it and only software part of it you would like to do, again, you don't have to waste your time coming for a BTech, you can go for an MCA. You can always do that where the focus is only on the software side. There is another thing also you should understand. If somebody has to be there in the area of computer science engineering, you should be really, really good at mathematics. The entire computers area is to do with specialization as an application of abstract mathematics. There are 3 prerequisites for anybody to become a good programmer in this world. Number 1 is English comprehension, because even today we do the programming in English. Number 2, numerical ability, because when you write a program, you should know that you are writing a program and x into y is equal to z. So 12 into maybe 5 is 60, but not 60,400. That kind of a feel for numbers should be there. That's a numerical ability. Logical reasoning ability. For every problem, there is a solution, or there are a number of solutions. The entire solution methodology has to be logically implemented on a computer. So basic logical reasoning ability is what is important. So a 10th class student who is brilliant can still be a good programmer. A commerce student who is good at numbers and good logical reasoning ability and good English comprehension, they have become best programmers in the world. But then they are not the best software engineers, please remember that. If you have to become a software engineer, you need to have different kind of mathematical background also. That goes into the design of these software systems, particularly system software part of it and all that. Now, when it actually comes to the question of selecting a college or a branch, I would put it this way. If it is anything other than IT or CSE, it is also important that you go for a reasonably good college, because the establishment or the infrastructure they have got in terms of the laboratories and all, it plays a very, very important role in the 4 years of your study. Of course, today the government of India, MHRD, has come out with a program of virtual laboratory, and all these IITs and at least 15 different organizations in this country alone on high-speed internet are offering you virtual laboratory facilities. Still, having a hands-on on machinery is very, very important as far as the core engineering areas or EC is concerned. However, when it comes to the question of IT, no matter what engineering college you are in, still you can go through a self-study program and become as good as an IT engineer, CSE or IT engineer, as anybody is in this particular country. All you need is a set of reference books, a high-speed internet at your home with a good system at your home. And I can tell you, if you have the real proper guidance given to you, you can do your entire BTech course in CSE sitting at home. That is the unique advantage only CSE has got, provided you don't look for anything on the hardware side. Again, coming to the hardware side, all the hardware laboratory facilities should be available only in the department. So you have to depend on the college only as far as that particular part is concerned. Well, I think these are my observations as far as the CSE IT, general choice of branches, other things are concerned. Now, I would also like to mention about the avionics, the prospects of avionics. If you look at Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Hyderabad is an exclusive avionics development unit. It develops the aeronautical electronics for all Indian defense requirements. So there is scope in India for defense with the space, ISRO, things like that. And abroad, if you look at the European Space Research Organization in Europe, Boeing, Hughes, and a number of other companies. And most of the airlines, they require also maintenance engineers. So these will be the prospects as far as the avionics engineers are concerned. Well, I think that's all I would like to sum up at this. Thank you.